First half, O's fans celebrated their first-place team with Manny Machado Garden Gnome Day. The Angels had a chance to play spoilers, but they dropped the ball. And in the end, it was the duo of Manny and Schoop coming through to save the day for the O's. And Schoop gave his Gnomie a little post-game love. It's the Orioles on MASN on a lovely Sunday afternoon at Camden Yards. It's the Orioles and the Angels. Today it's the rubber game in this three-game weekend series. And hi, everyone. I'm Jim Hunter. The Orioles won a thriller yesterday to get even in the series. Yes, they hit a home run, adding to their league-leading total. But the storyline of yesterday was the Orioles won the game despite only scoring 3 runs. It is very difficult to win in the American League when you score less than 4. But the Orioles are actually coming on as the year progresses. Now, here are the best records in all of Major League Baseball in games scoring 3 runs or less. And even though the Orioles only have 9 wins scoring 3 runs or less, that is 5th best in all of Major League Baseball and 3rd best in the American League. So, Mike Bordick, yesterday it was one of those days. They finally got some good pitching first inning through the 9th, and they got the clutch hits when they needed it.
Well, clutch hits and a great bullpen. I mean, this Orioles bullpen has been a staple for them for the last 4 or 5 seasons, and this year they have really risen to the occasion. When you miss a guy like Darren O'Day, you've got to have players step up. Michael Givens has stepped up. Dylan Bundy. Givens shows up again yesterday. Their bullpen, 4 scoreless innings. They've done it 13 times this year. I mean, that is a key for winning close ball games. And, of course, the clutch hitting has stepped up as well. Machado coming through with the opposite field single. Jonathan Schoop, a clutch base hit. So not necessarily a home run to win it, a little bit of small ball winning it yesterday for the Orioles.
And of the many storylines that have developed over the year, we saw it again yesterday, the Orioles coming back and coming back late. This team in the final 3 innings has been incredible all year.
Well, it's a dangerous team offensively. You see the runs scored there. Orioles scoring 146 runs offensively, and the runs against only 88. So that really sums it all up. They have great offense, clutch offense late in the ball game. They have the ability to hit home runs. They're leading the American League in home runs 7th inning on, and their bullpen, it's just shutting teams down 7th, 8th, and 9th inning. Brad Brock has been incredible, earning the All-Star vote. Britton as well, one of the best closers in the game. So you get to those 2 guys at the end, and you pretty much wrap it up.
Now, the Orioles, by winning yesterday, guaranteed that they'll be in first place at the All-Star break. And after all the hard work over the first half of this year, I think that's a nice prize that they can take into the break and say, you know what, we did it, we're in first place.
Well, it sure is. And you think about the way they did it. I mean, without a complete rotation. They are actually undermanned coming out of spring training because Kim wasn't getting any playing time. So Buck Showalter had to do this with a minimal bench, and of course his magic work of handling a bullpen, keeping the arms fresh out there, using the minor leagues to their success, and it worked out. It has really worked out. I think the big reason why, probably the veteran leadership on this team. When you just look around, you see Adam Jones, Chris Davis emerging, J.J. Hardy. It's a great group with a great mixture of veteran players and quality young players.
And here today, the Orioles try to win yet another series at home before heading into the All-Star break on Adam Jones Jumbo Baseball Card Day. Lineups and first pitch are next. by Southwest. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. And by American Standard Heating and Air, it's their all-star sales event with up to $1,100 in instant rebates or 0% APR for 36 months. Another lovely day downtown. Here's our BGE home game time temperature of 82 degrees. Humidity still quite high at 47%. BGE Home is Baltimore's home team for heating, cooling, plumbing, and electrical. Why would you call anyone else? So the rubber game in this three-game series. Here is the Angels lineup. Escobar, Calhoun, and Trout with Pujols in the cleanup spot. He'll DH. Marte's at first today, moving Choi to left. And Drelleton Simmons, an 11-game hitting streak. He has been red hot since coming off the DL. Soto will catch, and Petit gets the start at second base.
Yeah, let's take a look at Chris Tillman's pitch arsenal this season. The fastball 57% of the time. Breaking ball, sliders come up big for him. Also featuring the big curve, 12-6, and the change, straight change, 15% of the time. Tillman a dominant first half of the season. 18 starts, looking for his 12th win of the season. Only 5 pitchers in all of baseball with 11 wins this year. Tillman, one of them, holding opponents down to .238 overall average. He has been bit by the long ball, though, a few times this year. 14 home runs given up by Tillman.
And he deals to Escobar, and it's too tight. 1-0. We are underway at Camden Yards. Final game before the All-Star break. The Orioles sending 5 All-Stars to San Diego for the game on Tuesday night. This ball's hit towards right center field and hangs up for Trumbo, and Mark runs it down for the out. And a quick out here to begin the game, 1 away.
Nice play by Trumbo. Up at the rest of the Orioles defense. Kim will join him in left field. Jones in center. Hardy and Scope. The double play combination up the middle. Machado and Davis on the corners, and Matt Wieters back behind the plate. All-star catcher.
We just had a friend in the booth. Did you see that? Biggest moth I've ever seen.
Oh, yeah, to come after you?
He hit me right in the shoulder. I thought Karen was tapping me. No. Got to be nice to animals.
Oh, jeez.
Here's Cole Calhoun. First ball swinging. And it's 0-1. Calhoun's got a 9-game hitting streak going, so he's been hot. Mike, as you look at how this series has gone, Orioles lost the game on Friday night where they simply got outscored, then won yesterday. And with Tillman on the mound, it works out perfectly. You're trying to win a series. That's what it's all about. So you get your 2 out of 3, and you have your most consistent pitcher on the mound. Absolutely.
Couldn't line up any better for the Orioles, especially the fact they've played so well at home. Chris Tillman has pitched outstanding here at home. He's 7-0. The team hasn't lost a game when he's been on the bump here at Camden Yards this season. So things looking good as the Orioles round up this first half.
And they're playing an Angels team that, even though they're playing better baseball as of late, they have struggled on the year. They're just 37-51. Mike Scioscia's club not in contention at the moment. They're in last place in the AL West. And you're not used to seeing a Mike Scioscia team in last place.
No, they've been hurt by injuries, of course, but this team just hasn't been playing the best baseball. And they have some quality players for sure. They just haven't been able to come together and really keep it rolling and in sync. Offensively, they're starting to come around, and we've seen that. It's a tough offensive team, but there have been inconsistencies both in the rotation and in the bullpen.
And a 3-1 on Calhoun. And there's a 1-out walk. So Tillman got ahead on the foul ball, then 4 consecutive pitches out of the strike zone. So Calhoun gets on ahead of Mike Trout. Mike Trout will start in the All-Star game on Tuesday night. It is his 5th All-Star selection. And he's only 24 years old, and he fouls it back.
Well, one of the best all-around players in the game, and has been since he's broken into the league. A 5-tool player, speed, power, defense. He'll hit for average. Really the most well-rounded player I think the game has seen in a while.
Tillman ahead of him 0-1. And a foul ball straight back. He had a good cut, 0-2. Well, Tillman making his team-leading 19th start. And as Mike pointed out, he is perfect at home. 7 of his 11 wins have come here at Oriole Park. And he has enjoyed pitching against the AL West in his career as Trout hits it deep to right. Trumbo is back near the scoreboard, and that is off the scoreboard and in play. Calhoun will go to third. He's being sent. Trumbo had some trouble with the carom. Schoop with the throw to the plate. He is out at the plate. What a throw by Schoop. Trumbo hit the cutoff man, and Calhoun is gunned down at the plate.
Wow. Well, they're definitely going to take a look at this, but so hard to advance bases on this Orioles team. Best in the business, if not the best, in cutoffs and relays. Trumbo, nice adjustment as the ball goes high off the right field wall, but Schoop did it in his hands. It's a cannon. Great throw to Matt Wieters, and one of the best tagging catchers in the game. Question whether or not that foot stayed on home plate, or did it bounce up and allow Wieters to tag him. Take a look as Calhoun slides in. Wieters definitely get the tag down, but did the foot stay on home plate?
So there is a challenge on the play as Timmons, who made the call, and the crew chief Mike Effort go to the headsets.
Great adjustment by Wieters to the baseball.
And I think he's out. Now there has to be disputable evidence or indisputable evidence that the call was wrong. Very, very close, but a nice sweeping tag there by Wieters.
No, it sure was. I think at times when you go back and analyze plays like this, it's because either there's a hesitation around third base or maybe a poor secondary lead by the base runner. Well struck ball by Trout, driving it. A slider down and away off that right field wall.
Trout will get a double. He goes to third on the throw home. And we'll see if he gets an RBI. Here's another look. And right there, he tags him, and it doesn't appear that the foot is on the plate yet. And it looked like Timmons had real good position.
Yeah, he was there.
That was a good send by Ron Renicky early in the game. Now there's the other aspect here. Of course, Mike Scioscia, former catcher. Could it be that he thought Wieters did not give Calhoun a lane to slide?
Oh, I don't know about that. I mean, it appeared that Wieters took the ball behind home plate, actually reached out, unless he had started in the base path, which I doubt that. You see Wieters well behind home plate, so he has a definite line.
Yeah, so if Mike Scioscia is challenging Wieters didn't give a lane, whether or not his foot hit the base or not is a moot point because he was called out. You can't look for two things on one challenge. If Scioscia's asking, did he give him a lane, that's all they can look for.
Yeah.
And the call was out. Now, if he asked him to challenge on the safer out, then the lane becomes a moot point. They are sure taking a long time with this.
Well, one thing for sure, it's Trumbo's getting more accustomed to that right field wall, which is such a hard wall to play. Soft on the meshing of the scoreboard. It's padded down on the wall part, so the ball comes off differently every time. Trumbo played that one nicely, softly off the wall. Gets it to Jonathan Schoop.
And the run counts. So we're hearing from New York that there was no violation of the home plate collision rule, but the call is overturned and the run counts. So they did look at two things.
Yeah, I actually think they can look at multiple plays at home and second base. They can overturn.
So I don't know about that, Mike. I thought you had to ask for something specific, and that's what you're asking to be looked at. I wasn't aware that the umpires can arbitrarily look at everything and then say, okay, oh yeah, and by the way, we also see this.
Well, I'm pretty sure they can do that at second base. As far as if a pivot man doesn't touch second base, or whether or not the guy slides into the bag correctly. So there are multiple options they can look at and actually overturn calls.
So that one is overturned, and the Angels grab a 1-0 lead. So Trout does get the RBI, his 58th. And the 1-1 to Pujols is down and away. So that walk comes back to hurt Tillman as Calhoun got on with a 1-out walk, and he scores. Pujols at 251 on the year, and he's got 15 home runs and a bouncer foul. And the count evens 2-2.
Well, no stranger to driving in runs, and Pujols a great opportunity here with Trout at third base. The Orioles infield playing back. Make sure they can get this second out. Oh, now they're sliding in with the 2 strikes. Interesting move right here.
Calhoun hustled around with the run. Down and in for ball 3. So Trout at third with 1 down. Tillman trying to keep this to a 1-run inning. Run the count full on Albert Pujols, 3-2. Line drive caught by Hardy, flipped to third, but getting back in is Trout. So by having the infield in, they do cut off the run. That might have gotten by Hardy had he been back.
Wow, what a play. You better have your reaction shoes on. J.J. Hardy does here. This is a bullet off the bat of Pujols. And how about the wherewithal? The underhand flip to Manny Machado, potentially doubling up Trout, but he gets back there in time. Nice play by the Orioles defense on a gutsy call by Buck Showalter, drawing the infield in early in the game.
Yeah, that just saved the run, no doubt about it. So Tillman will go after Marte here to try to keep it to a 1-run inning. Marte getting a start at first base today. His 38th game appearance of the year. The Angels playing their 89th game today, and there's ball 1. So Tillman's command here not as sharp as he would like. Of course, the first inning of games are the innings that really hurt Chris. Usually when he gets past the first inning, he settles in. Weak ground ball to short. Hardy has it, and he'll gun down Marte, and that'll do it. The Angels do get a run on the RBI double by Mike Trout. We head to the bottom of the first. Angels 1, and here come the O's. A double by Trout, initially called out. The call was overturned. So the O's come to bat down by a run. Let's get a look at the Southwest starting lineup, brought to you by Southwest. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. Jones, Kim, and Machado with Trumbo in the cleanup spot. Then Davis, Wieters, and Scope. Alvarez will DH. J.J. Hardy at shortstop brings a 6-game hitting streak into today's game. His bat heating up.
And let's take a look at Tim Lincecum's pitch arsenal this season. Fastball 44% of the time, breaking ball 13%. How about the change? 43%. A real good changeup. That has been his bread and butter. But the fastball has lost a lot of velocity. Still an unorthodox delivery that could certainly help him against this Orioles lineup. We see the earned run average 7.50, so not fooling many hitters at all. Opponents hitting 367 overall. Righties way up over 400. Lefties 340. Giving up 3 home runs. This will be his 5th start for the Angels this season. Of course, been out of baseball for a year. Had hip surgery. And making the comeback, Tim Lincecum.
Adam Jones will face him first. Adams got a 7-game hitting streak going, so he's hitting the break hot. And a strike on the corner. Now Adam is one of only 2 players in this game today that has seen Lincecum face the Orioles. That was as a member of the San Francisco Giants, as Adams slices it foul deep down the right side. So he's down 0-2. You have to go back to 2010 in interleague baseball, June the 16th, and Lincecum won that game. Adam went 0 for 5. Matt Wieters didn't start. He pinch hit, went 0 for 1. They're the only 2 in the game today that saw Lincecum that day in 2010.
Right, not a lot of opportunities to face Tim Lincecum. This is his first trip into Camden Yards. First time pitching here, so new experience for him as well.
And Adam fights it off to stay alive. Well, Lincecum facing Jones here, looking for his 2nd win as an Angel. He won his debut. Adam splits ahead and behind in the count. He was signed after the season began, then got some tune-up work in the minor leagues. He debuted on June 18th and got the win. And Adam rips it into left field. That's a base hit. Bobbling the hop is Choi. No further advancement. So Adam Jones gets on despite being down in the count, 0-2.
A nice piece of hitting right there from Adam Jones. Really seeing the ball well, locked in, letting it travel, controlling the body, the lower half. Take a look at the curveball from Lincecum, and he stays behind it. He gets the front foot down. There is no drift forward, and he smokes the base hit into left field.
Adam extends his hitting streak to 8 in a row. And he gets on base for Hyun-Soo Kim. He brings a 6-game hitting streak into this game. Hot foul the other way, and I think Mike Scioscia's learned his lesson with Kim. They are not shifting on Kim.
Yeah, Kim, he hits them where they ain't. He'll see the movement of the infield and has the ability and great back control now. He's on his game. And hit the ball all over the place. How about that? Hits by direction. 17 left, 16 center, 17 right. Is that equal distribution or what?
Swings late on that pitch, so Lincecum gets ahead 0-2. Lincecum out of Renton, Washington. This is his 10th big league season. As a younger pitcher, he had those long locks, shoulder length hair.
Yeah, the freak, right?
Yep.
The long hair. Not a big guy.
Swept towards second base. Only play is at first. As Petit takes the sure out, Jones ends up at second base in scoring position.
Take a look at the Angels defense behind Lincecum. Choi, Trout, and Calhoun in the outfield. Simmons and Petit will be up the middle. Escobar and Marte will be on the corners, and Soto will do the catching this afternoon. Kim a little limp.
He was limping as he came off the field. Richie Bancel's over to check him out with Danny Lee.
Reaching out to get the off-speed pitch. And halfway, something catches.
Well, here's Manny with a chance to get this game even. Manny's hitting 4 in a row. Get that batting average up to .322. And continues to lead the Orioles in multi-hit games with 35. So Richie getting the message from Danny Lee what was ailing Kim, and we'll see if he can continue or not. Maybe it was just a cramp. It is hot. And a strike on the outside corner, 1-1.
Look at fastball there from Lincecum. You can see the fastball velocity, not like the Lincecum of old, where it was up in, at times it could get up in the high 90s, 80, 89, 88, right there. And really, it's been about fastball command. He still has a great changeup, so he can win with fastball changeup, and of course the deceptive delivery. But the command hasn't quite been there with the heater. And if you don't have good command with 88-mile-an-hour fastball, you're going to have some long afternoons. Lincecum wants some help on the slider there.
There's a chopper to third. That'll hold Adam Jones. Escobar to first to get Machado. There's a big out for Lincecum and 2 men down.
How about Lincecum now losing his edge a little bit? In 2007 to 2015, in 269 games, had over 100 wins with a 3.61 earned run average. How about this year? 4 starts, 7.50 earned run average. Opponent batting average 130 points higher this year than his career. Oh yeah, he has not bounced back, but this guy has done some special things in his career. 2-time Cy Young Award winner.
Well, there's a wild pitch that'll get Adam Jones to third.
He's actually one of only 2 pitchers to win multiple World Series, multiple Cy Youngs, and be elected to the All-Star game multiple times. Here, spiking the breaking ball that Trumbo takes, and Soto can't harness it, allowing Adam Jones slide into third base.
Trumbo off the body of Escobar. The throw to first is in time. Simmons just saved the day. That ball was smoked. Escobar takes one for the team, so that'll go 5-6-3 to end the inning. And there's Joey Rickard, who is in the game in left field, so Kim does have to leave the game after pulling up on his ground out. So Buck talking with Brian Ebel, and then went down to the end of the bench to Wayne Kirby, who's the outfield coach. And Rickard now in the game in left field. So the Orioles lose a red hot bat, although Joey's been swinging the bat pretty well.
Yeah, and that's, I guess, Buck Showalter's saving graces here. He has got a complete bench right now. Everybody has been doing a nice job, and I think he has full trust in everyone he calls on.
Ji-Man Choi playing in left field today. And a high pop-up shallow center field. Adam Jones waits, and he has it for the out. One away in the second. A Birdland favorite is back at Oriole Park. First 20,000 fans, 21 and over, at the game on Friday, July 22nd against Cleveland, received the Orioles floppy hat presented by Miller Lite. So add this year's floppy hat to your collection. Tickets for this annual promotion are going fast, so get online, Orioles.com or 888-848-BIRD. All the different floppy hats from over the years. Fans love them. Mike Bordick has an extensive collection.
Could bring in a few floppy hats, I think, from my house.
Yeah, I'm sure I got several of them as well.
Yeah.
Andrelton Simmons moved up to the number 7 spot today. 1-1 the count on him.
And Simmons starting to swing a hot bat. Played some exceptional defense out there at shortstop.
Swing and a miss, 1-2.
A good breaking ball there from Tillman. Good command of the spin pitch early in the ball game. And Tillman coming off a very good outing in his last start, 7 strong innings.
Just outside. Wow, that was close. 2-2. Yeah, he beat the Dodgers, and that was a big, big win. It was the second game in that series. The Orioles had lost the opener on the 4th of July, so by winning Tuesday, Tillman gave them a chance to get the series, and they did by winning on Wednesday in the 14-inning game. "24 pitches to this point. He had 18 in the first inning, and he's facing a hitter who's hit in 11 consecutive games. And a foul back.
Well, Chris Tillman, I think in many Orioles fans' minds, feel that he got snubbed from the All-Star game. Very good first half for Chris Tillman. And you know that the Orioles wouldn't be in this position without him having this first half he had, because the rest of the rotation has been so inconsistent. Tillman being able to stabilize it a little bit has helped tremendously to keep the Orioles on top of the division.
Kevin Gausman, there's Ubaldo in the back with Giovanni Gallardo. Well, Tillman on the 7th pitch misses, and for a second straight inning after retiring the leadoff man, Tillman issues a walk. Giovanni Soto just activated off the DL yesterday and getting a start today. Veteran catcher. High fly ball to right for Trumbo. And he's got it for the out. 2 men down. It appears the Angels have a scouting report on Tillman that he likes to get ahead with fastballs. Several of these hitters going after the first pitch,
which is fine with Tillman, right? Because there are many games where just the pitch count gets so elevated and he can't stay in there. You get some of these early swing and outs for Tillman. That'll help him settle in and get deeper into the ball game.
Gregorio Petit, the number 9 batter today, getting a start at second base. This is a right-handed heavy roster. Mike Scioscia today giving Nava and Giavotella a day off, and also Jet Bandy, the catcher who caught the first 2 games in this series. So utilizing his roster and getting some at-bats for the reserve players as Tillman misses down and away for ball 2. As Chris grew up right outside of Anaheim, so the Angels were his hometown team. And he's 2-0 against them in 4 career starts. Two down with Simmons on at first. 3-0 to the number 9 batter.
Yeah, you would think he might be a little aggressive. An opportunity here and expand the zone a little bit, but showing the good patience. Taking some tough pitches right on the outside corner.
And right there for strike 3-1 as Petit was taken all the way. Petit in his 4th organization with the Angels. He's been with Oakland, the Astros, and the Yankees. 31 years old. And a foul back, so Tillman back in the count of 3-2. So Simmons will be off with the pitch as Tillman goes after Petit here, trying to end the 2nd inning. Fans getting behind Tillman here with 2 strikes. And he got him. So Tillman comes back from 3-0 down to strike out Petit and end the inning. A 1-out walk and 1 left. Mid-second at Camden Yards. O's come to bat down by a run. Hill has won $500 for being selected and will win $500 more for every Orioles home run hit in the game today. Play Home Run Rich's scratch-offs and win up to $50,000 or enter non-winning tickets for a chance to be the contestant of the game. Visit mdlottery.com/baseball. And we welcome the Orioles Executive Vice President of Baseball Operations, Dan Duquette, to the booth. You have a first-place team at the All-Star break. That's got to feel good.
Well, it's good that we're where we are. The number of guys had great first halves of the season, and we want it to continue.
All right, now, as you have observed this team and you were with the team in Los Angeles, what have you seen? What jumps out about this team?
Well, we have a dynamic lineup. I mean, I'm so impressed with the development of Scope and Machado. These guys are just terrific players. They can hit for average. They have power. They're good defenders. They have great arms, and they continue to get better every day. So I'm really heartened by that. And then our overall competitiveness and defense every day. Our defense is solid. We got the 2 really good relief pitchers in Britton and Brock. They've done a great job this year. And then, you know, Trumbo's been a big boost to the lineup. He's done a nice job solidifying the center of our lineup. And we still have the steady leadership on the team in Davis, J.J. Hardy, Adam Jones, Matt Wieters. All those guys are having good years.
Yeah, you got quite a few All-Stars this year as well. Kind of a tribute, I think, to the whole organization, really. And over the past 4 or 5 seasons, the Orioles have been very well represented.
Yeah, the Orioles have done great in terms of the All-Stars. We've got more All-Stars than any team in the American League over the last 5 years. So that's a good sign that we have some good players. And the fans have been great. They come out and they like these players. And what's not to like? Davis is Jones and Wieters. They didn't make, well, Wieters made the All-Star team, but we still got Davis, Jones, and Hardy. They're not on the All-Star team, but we got Wieters, we got Manny, We got Trumbo, and then we got the 2 relief pitchers on this year's team. And, you know, we're proud of those guys. They're having great years, and we're proud of the work that they do.
And Davis called out on strikes. He thought he had ball 4. So he's retired and 1 away here in the second.
We'll take a look at the fastball from Lincecum. Yeah, not the overpowering heater we've seen in the past, but well located at 88 miles an hour to lock Chris Davis up.
Dan, we hit the All-Star break after the game today, and I know there's a lot of talk, trade talk, mostly from fans because they want to see a move made. How many teams are you talking to in particular about pitching that might be able to come in and help the team?
Well, there's about 15 teams chasing the pitching that's in the market, and there's a couple of decent starters are on the market now. There might be a few more available later. But in order for us to accomplish what we need to accomplish, we're going to need some more consistency from our starting rotation. The bullpen's done a great job. Givens has emerged as a really solid performer out there, and Worley's given us some good innings. But we're going to need Gallardo to step up. We're going to need Ubaldo Jimenez to pitch like he has in the past. And then we're also going to have to supplement our pitching from outside the organization, which we're prepared to do.
Is it a difficult decision when you look at the prospects that you're trying to develop, knowing that some of those may not be Orioles in a couple of weeks, or is that just part of doing business?
Well, we've said this 100 times. The farm system is to help you bring players to the major league team from it, or to use them in trades to strengthen your major league team, particularly when you're in the pennant race. And we're in the pennant race. And we have the support of ownership to go out and add to the ball club. I think that's what everybody wants to see. And we've done that in the past. You know, you have to pay a steep price because you're giving up part of your future, but you want to maximize the present and see if we can win the pennant.
I have a question about some of the minor league players. It seems like the organization slowly but surely is getting stronger and stronger. I remember just a couple years ago, there was panic, it seemed, in the organization about the catching depth. And next thing you know, every level has an all-star catcher, and Chance Sisco is in the futures game tonight. I mean, here we are. Now we're overloaded with catching.
Right. We got some good, solid catching depth, and Sisco is probably the headliner of that group. We saw Pena early this year come up and do a nice job when Caleb Joseph was hurt. Audrey Perez is doing a good job at AAA. And Jonah Heim is down in A-ball doing a nice job in the Carolina League. So those guys are coming along good. But that's a strength of the organization. And I also like to point out that we have more rookie pitchers on our big league rotation than any other club in the league. And we're getting more innings from our minor league system with guys that come up. Dylan Bundy's done a nice job. Ty Wilson's done a nice job. And Michael Givens has done a nice job for us. So we're developing pitching, not only the pitchers that are in our bullpen, but the pitchers that we traded when we were going for the pennant down the stretch. So our farm system is healthy, and the catching prospects are good. I still have a lot of hope for Trey Mancini. He's a terrific hitter, high average hitter. He's got power too. And he should be able to come up and help our major league team pretty soon.
Yeah, it's pretty remarkable that you have the catchers, not only the depth, but they're slotted all the way from Delmarva all the way up to Bowie, and then the AAA catchers you mentioned, Perez and Pena. And Pena's already been with the team. Yeah,
and Pena helped the club. We won a lot of the games where he caught. Really good defender, excellent arm, and of course he grew up around baseball with his dad, being around his dad.
Wieters a line drive to Petit. That was an 11-pitch at bat, as Wieters eventually lines out, visiting with Dan Duquette as the Orioles take on the Angels here in the rubber game of 3. Now, Parker Bridwell finally got back last night. He's been out with the broken rib. He was down at Gulf Coast, pitched well for Aberdeen. Is there any timetable where a player like that might be able to help you? Because you mentioned maybe going within the system first before outside.
Well, he's ready to help us, and he's ready for an assignment to higher ball now that he's pitched on his rehab. He's got the good changeup, good delivery, excellent athlete, and he'll get an opportunity up here, I think, before the end of the year. We like him. And Josh Sedlock, our #1 pick, made a very impressive debut last night in Aberdeen. Showed an excellent sinking fastball and good breaking stuff. So we were encouraged about that too.
Is the #1 pick, when you look at him and the innings pitched in the college year, are you going to push him through the rest of the summer and potentially look at him to help maybe in September? I mean, is that how aggressive you could potentially be?
They did that with Chris Sale. The White Sox did.
Well, this kid had a very impressive debut. I mean, he had a 96-mile-an-hour sinker, with a good breaking pitch. He was the Big Ten pitcher of the year, had a great year. I think that we're going to keep a close eye on him. He's off to a good start.
Scope to third and past the glove of Escobar. And Jonathan is on with 2 men down. You see how they scored. It was hit hard, but it went right past the glove of Yunel Escobar.
Yeah, now there's a difference between a drop step and an olé. You got to really keep your eyes on the ball. He does not get the nose in here on the drop step. Look at how far the hip gets out of the way. So really reaching for the baseball. You have to get your eyes behind it if you're going to do the drop step. That bullet off Schoop's bat eludes Escobar at third.
So the Orioles get Pedro Alvarez up with a man on, down by a run. And they have ruled base hit. Schoop will take it. And Jonathan extends his hitting streak to 9 in a row. And Pedro takes low. Visiting with Dan Duquette on the eve of the All-Star break. So you don't get an All-Star break, right? You're going to be manning the phones and talking to your brethren out there?
Well, we're going to be working. We just had a conference call with our scouts who are out looking at all the pitching that's available. We've got a pretty wide breadth of scouts, and we got a bunch of people out in San Diego for the All-Star game to see if they can drum up some interest and see if we can add to our team from outside the organization. I got to tell you, it's going to be tough because there's only a couple of pitchers that are available on the market, and like I said, there's 15 teams in contention that would like to add, but we're going to look around.
Can pitching philosophies change during the season, understanding that, okay, the starters aren't getting as deep, and it seems like Bundy's innings are getting picked up a little bit more. Could we do the piggyback situation?
Well, I like the idea of the piggyback starter for one of the spots in the rotation. I don't know that you can do it for all the spots in the rotation, but if you have pitchers that can go through the lineup not 1 but 2 times, right, and you back them up so that they're pitching on the same day, like Tyler Wilson and Bundy have done that a couple of times effectively this year. I think that's a good way to manage one of the spots in those rotations. And I watched the Dodgers move their pitchers in and out. They went with a different relief pitcher every inning at the start of the inning. And of course, they're playing the percentages that go to the pitcher the first time the hitter sees him that day, right? The odds are in favor of the pitcher, and then the more the hitter sees of the same pitcher, the more odds go towards the hitter. So the teams that do that are playing the percentage and playing percentage baseball, which to me is smart baseball.
Sure. So in a piggyback situation, if it was, say, the number 5 starter, you could have Tyler Wilson start knowing he's going to go maybe 3 innings, maybe 4, and then Bundy relieves, or the other way around, and knowing going into that game that that's all they're going to pitch?
I think that's right. And you see Buck manages his bullpen very aggressively some days, and he gets the matchups that he wants. He gets his pitchers into the game against the opposing hitters that he has picked out ahead of time, that he knows those pitchers can get out.
Another rocket line drive right at the second baseman, and that'll retire the side. Well, Dan, we appreciate the visit. Congratulations on a real good first half, and better things to come, we hope, in the second half.
All right. Thanks a lot, Jim. Good to be with you guys.
We'll head to the third, 1-0 Angels. streaks at home.
Oh, yeah. Well, Chris Tillman loving it. And here his team is picking up as well. 11 starts for Chris Tillman here in Camden Yards, and the team has won all 11 games. Tillman's numbers 7-0, 3.45 earned run average at home. And how about Santana? Went to 17. David Cohn and Guidry on the list as well. Orioles lucky to have Tillman putting up those big numbers here at Camden Yards.
Fastball upstairs to Escobar. Put him in at 34 pitches. He had a 18-pitch first inning and a 15-pitch second inning. Breaking ball too tight, 2-0. So that's interesting what Dan Duquette said. There are 2 pitchers that are knowingly on the market, and 15 teams are in the hunt for those 2 pitchers.
Yeah, gotta have what they want, right? And they're going to be able to basically ask whatever they want.
Well, Tillman 3-0 on Escobar. And flying out to right field his first at bat. And a 4-pitch walk to begin the inning. That is the 3rd walk already allowed by Chris. So the Angels get their man on to begin the 3rd. On Saturday, July 23rd, first 20,000 fans 15 and over at the game at 7:05 against the Indians receive an Orioles batting practice cap, the replica cap that features the cartoon bird and the popular new all-black cap that is worn by the Orioles during batting practice for the first time this year. So get your hat, come on out and join us, Orioles.com or 888-848-BIRD. That is Saturday, July 23rd. Cole Calhoun batting for a second time. And it's upstairs. He walked and scored in the first, initially called out at the plate. And Mike, we did some checking to see if you can ask for multiple checks on a replay, and you were right. We had been given information that you had to specifically tell the umpire, I want you to look at this, but apparently they were able to look to see if Wieters was blocking the plate, was there a sliding lane, and oh, by the way, while you're looking, let's see if he was safe.
Yeah, everything. They can really check everything out, and so advantage goes to Scioscia in that regard.
Schoop made a perfect relay throw, but Calhoun just did get the foot in.
Yeah, you don't see many teams sending runners from third too often on this Orioles defense. I mean, a great relay team, strongest arms in all of baseball in this Orioles infield.
Down and in for ball 2, and Tillman really battling the strike zone here early on. Hyun-Soo Kim, who left the game after his at bat in the first, has been diagnosed with a right hamstring strain. So there's Joey Rickard now, the game and left. Over the low, ball 3.
These are all competitive pitches Tillman's throwing, but not getting many bites on the borderline pitches on the edges. Of course, Tillman's velocity hasn't jumped up into the mid-90s here early in the game either.
And there's a walk. Tim Timmons, very small strike zone, and not a guy you want coming up with men on base. Our PNC inside the numbers. Highest career slugging percentage in July.
Well, most of the best players in the game kind of separate themselves during the dog days. How about this list of names? Ruth, Williams, DiMaggio, Mize, Fox, and there is Mike Trout, the best all-around young players in the game. .635 slugging percentage in his career in July. He's hit more home runs in July than any other month. An impressive young player.
So dangerous spot here for Tillman. And he falls behind Trout 1-0.
Tillman has been very good at minimizing the damage. See that 224 opponent batting average with runners in scoring position. Trusting the defense.
And the foul back, 1-1.
Trout took a 2-strike slider high off the right field wall in his first at bat to drive in the only run of the game. So shows the power to all fields. Ability to stay back on all pitches as well.
Upstairs with a fastball.
And we talked about it at the beginning of this series. Trout down in the zone, as good as anybody in the game. If he has holes, it's up at the top, upper third of the strike zone. Oriole pitchers have been trying to target there. Not getting many high strike calls here early in this game.
There's a strike at the knees on the inside corner. One of the few low strikes Timmons has called. So 2-2 the count. The Angels have had 5 base runners so far, 4 walks and the Trout double. And the 2-2 swung on and missed. He got him.
There you go. Tillman targeting the top of the strike zone, and he executes it perfectly. Wieters holding the glove up high. That's what you want. How about the location of those fastballs? Down and away, down and in, and to the top for strike 3.
Not out of the woods yet. Here's Pujols. He hit a line drive, vicious line drive right at Hardy, with Trout at third and the infield drawn in his first at bat. But now with Pujols, you have a definite double play candidate. He has bounced into 13 on the year. Strike on the inside corner. Pujols does not agree.
Well, that'll help Tillman work towards that double play ground ball. 9 forced double plays and 72 opportunities. Socha not liking the call on the high changeup.
Oh, 2.
That was a great slider right there from Chris Tillman. He throws it hard. Perfect tilt. How about the location? This is how you work. Right by the book. Up and in, down and away. Typically hard up there. That was a changeup for the first pitch.
And this could be 2. Hardy to Schoop, out there, back to first, double play. And that gets Tillman out of a jam. With Pujols running, even on that slow bouncer, still able to turn 2. 6-4-3 ends the top of the third. By Southwest, transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. And by Navy Federal, proudly serving the armed forces and their families for over 80 years, federally insured by NCUA. Hazy day downtown. And a nice crowd on hand. It is a Junior Orioles Dugout Club day here at the ballpark, so a lot of kids. They bring the enthusiasm here. Here's J.J. Hardy. And there's a pitch low. Now, talking about Lincecum facing the Orioles for only the second time. Hardy, Alvarez, and Trumbo have seen him as National League players. But Jones and Wieters are the only two who have seen him as Orioles. It was a swing and a miss. 1-1 the count.
Yeah, that's a pretty nasty pitch right there. A hard slider. A good late movement.
JJ takes low. He's seeing the ball real well. Has a 6-game hitting streak going. 9 hits in those 6 games. And Mike Bordick predicted yesterday a power surge in the second half.
Yeah. I mean, I feel it. I really do. I mean, I've felt good about Hardy all year long. I think coming into spring training and a different look in his eye. An unfortunate injury set him back to miss some ABs, but I think he's going to have the second half that keeps this team on top, to be honest with you. I think defensively and offensively, J.J. Hardy's going to be a name we call on a lot in the second half.
And Dan Duquette mentioned it. He's one of the veteran leaders of this team. He does it quietly, but very effectively. And there's a leadoff walk in this 1-run game. So Hardy battles. Get a look at our Maryland Live Casino inside the numbers. So the Orioles will be in first place at the break. They won the division in 2014, so we thought we'd compare. And the Orioles this year actually 4 games better than they were in 2014, a year they eventually won 96 games. But the one issue, Mike, and there it is at the bottom, the ERA in 2014 at this point was 3.88. This year it's 4.39.
Yeah, it was in June of 2014 that the Orioles pitching really started to turn it around, and they went on a roll, and it carried through the whole year. They ended up walking away with the East in 2014. Chen had 16 wins, Norris had 15 wins, Gonzalez 10, Tillman 13. I mean, everybody had a sub-4 earned run average except Ubaldo, and even Gausman contributed mightily there at the end, picking up 7 wins. So pitching was certainly the key and helped them stay on top through all of the 14 season.
Adam Jones singled his first at-bat to extend his hitting streak to 8 straight. Second time in 3 innings, the O's have put the leadoff man on this Hardy walk. Ground ball to third. Fielded there by Escobar. Second one back to first. There's a double play. So Lincecum, after a leadoff walk, gets the 5-4-3 and 2 men down.
Pretty nice double play there. Turned by the Angels. A long way around the horn. Lincecum appreciating the defense.
Lincecum now 32 years old. He has 109 big league wins. He won back-to-back Cy Young Awards with the Giants in 2008 and 2009. Even though he didn't win 20 games in either of those seasons, he still won the Cy Young. And he gets ahead of Rickard, who's batting for the first time. Took over for Kim, who left with a strained hamstring. Joey 4 for 11 in his last 6 games. And a little bit low, 1-1.
He has such a unique and deceptive delivery, and much like Ubaldo, just as far as controlling and commanding that delivery, to have the release point being the same. And he, like Ubaldo, would throw in the mid to high 90s when he was a younger pitcher, so he could get away with some of the mistakes. Inconsistent release point with the firmer fastball, but now that the fastball velocity's dropped, the walks are kind of going up. He's up over 4 walks per 9 innings, and that's hurt his pitch count.
Wide of the bag at first is Marte. He flips to Lincecum, and safe is the call. Well, Mike Scioscia now will go to the video. That was a bang-bang play at first base. Of course, Rickard, good speed. So will the inning continue, and will Scioscia challenge?
Oh, tough defensive play here. Nice job by Marte. Going from the backside, and Lincecum hustling over there. And this is going to be about as bang as you're ever going to see. Wow, is that close?
Well, if they get there together, he's not out, right? Because the defender has to beat the runner.
Yeah, I think Rickard wins that one there.
And it does not appear that Scioscia's going to challenge. He's back on the bench. So that's an infield hit. Nice play there by Marte. And here's Manny. Breaking ball low, 1-0. Manny bounced out to third, his first at bat. He's batting at a .388 clip in his last 18 games. This one lifted to left field, charging in and making a diving catch is Choi. Takes a base hit away from Machado and ends the inning. Played it perfectly and got there just in time. So a base hit, a man left through 3. Angels have a 1-0 lead. Is brought to you by the RAV4 Hybrid, all-wheel drive and unexpected performance. Visit buyatoyota.com. What a beautiful day. And Choi
Staying in the game. That's a good sign.
Even though he did a bit of a face plant there.
Wow, did he hit hard. Great effort, though. One of the toughest plays in all of baseball, diving straight on the line drive, and he dives a long way. I mean, this is he takes off and it's a crash landing for sure.
Marte first ball swinging, fouls it off. Now, Tillman has allowed only 1 hit, but he's walked 4. And that was his 51st pitch. Marte grounded out to short his first at bat. Angels got their run in the first, 1 out walk, and then a double by Trout. Tillman coming off that fine effort in Los Angeles on Tuesday. He had struggled in the prior 3 starts, even though one of those starts he won. His ERA in those 3 starts was 8.59. The center field, Jones will glide back on it. Adam angling, gets a better view from the sun, and 1 away. Let's get a look at our PNC minor league report. PNC for the Achiever in you. And these prospects both pitched last night for Aberdeen.
Yeah, I mean, Aberdeen pretty lucky to see these arms. Cody Sedlock, #1 pick this year out of Illinois. 3 strong innings, only the 1 hit given up. 1 walk, 4 punch outs. And Bridwell, his name comes up every time Buck talks about minor league pitchers. Only had to throw 16 pitches, 13 strikes in the 2 innings of work. A rehab assignment down there in Aberdeen. And Dan Duquette was talking about Bridwell. Orioles might see him up here soon.
Well, they love his arm. So it looks like he'll head back to Bowie and continue to get stronger. He had the broken ribs, so it wasn't an arm issue that had him out. 1-1 on Choi, who flied out to Jones his first at bat. Well, if it's going to be as difficult as Dan Duquette alluded to, with so many teams chasing the same pitchers, you're either going to have to severely overpay, line drive right to Davis, 2 men down, or you're going to have to hope that somebody in your system that maybe is not thought of now, certainly they're thinking of it, can step in and help.
You know, I think that's what the Orioles are going to eventually do, and I think they will work out that piggyback type of philosophy. I think there's good enough arms. I don't know if they're good enough arms to cut through 3 or 4 times a major league lineup, but at least 2 times. And if you know, if they grow and mature at this level, maybe you keep sending them out there, extend them a little bit more. But I think there's plenty of strong enough arms. Dylan Bundy, one of them for sure. His pitch count's starting to get a little higher. He's been dominant at times this year. He's finished up this first half as strong as any pitcher the Orioles have out there. So I think there are more positives about the pitching for the future of this team than negatives. And I think Buck and Dan, Dave Wallace, they're going to figure out how to manage it and work it through to keep this team on top second half.
Well, Dave Wallace hopes that the pitching turns around. The starter's ERA is the main point, because this team will score enough runs. But it's kind of amazing that you have a first-place team at the break, and the starter's ERA is 14th in the league.
Yeah,
out of 15.
It really is amazing. So the good news is, really, there's only one way they can go, and that's up. If Ubaldo pitches a little bit better, Gallardo stays healthy, there's 5 or 6 good innings every time he goes out there, and the bullpen stays consistent, it's going to be a team to contend with.
And Drolton Simmons, who drew walk his first at bat, has worked the count to 3-1. See, and the big concern was if the starters don't pitch well, it generally is harder to win. But the other concern is wearing down the bullpen arms with the rash of short starts. The start by Gallardo yesterday was the 47th start of less than 6 innings. And they've had 41 starts this year of 5 innings or less. That's a lot of extra innings on the bullpen.
Well, it really is. And I don't know that there are many teams that can avoid that type of situation. I think the game has changed in that regard. You're just not finding as many quality starting pitchers that are going to give you the 6 and 7 strong innings. So the preparation has got to start now of understanding how to deal with that. And teams have started to. I just think the starting pitching has gotten so thin. You know, that you're going to have to change your philosophy and maybe use that piggyback type of philosophy. And if you find number one, it just takes so much. You're going to deplete your whole minor leagues by landing a number 1 guy that, you know, it's quite, you don't even know if you're going to win in the postseason. You got to make it to the postseason first of all.
Well, and if you're talking about a number 1 guy, Julio Teheran of Atlanta probably would be that guy, but what's that going to cost you? 5 or 6 prospects, and probably somebody off this club.
All right.
0-2 on Soto after the walk to Simmons.
You know, I think one thing that this team has really understood and believed in more than anything is just relying on the organization. And I think the players understand that as well. I think if they want to do it, they want to do it from within.
Lifted to left field. Rickert got a good first step, and he runs it down. So the 2-out walk doesn't hurt. 1 left. Mid-4th, O's come to bat, down by a run.
not. Second All-Star game selection. Made it as a younger player, but here with the Orioles, 28 home runs in the first half. Could add to it today. He has put on a show, driving it to all fields. Best power hitters in the game today. And how about home run leaders at the All-Star break? Deep inside the numbers, showing Trumbo done something pretty special. First season with a team. How about those names? Jimmy Fox, Maris, Kingman, Fielder, Bonds, and there's Trumbo on the list. Most home runs at the All-Star break. First year with a new team.
Old Double X, a Marylander. And here is Mr. Trumbo leading off. He was robbed his first at-bat. Fortunate for Lincecum. There's a line drive base hit to left field. His first at-bat, he had a rocket that hit off the chest of Escobar, but he hit it right to Andrelton Simmons, the shortstop, who picked it up and gunned him out.
Yeah, and that was a bullet over the head of Simmons, and Simmons is saying thank you for getting that one over my head. He is squaring the ball up. If it's not a bullet past an infielder, it's over the fence. Lincecum's been pretty efficient here in this ball game. Only 53 pitches. He's averaging up over 20 pitches per inning since signing on with the Angels.
Wells Nagy is the Angels pitching coach. And taken low by Davis. Chris was called down on strikes his first at bat on a 3-2 pitch he thought was ball 4. And they have the shift on modified with a runner at first. Fastball outside for ball 2. Orioles are 8-3 this year in rubber games, and that is such a big number when the series could go either way with the deciding game. So they've won 8 series by taking the rubber game. They've also really played well at home in taking care of their series, as Davis had a good cut but fouled it back. Toronto is leading at home against Detroit. Blue Jays have a 5-1 lead in the 5th, and the Red Sox are leading at home against scuffling Tampa Bay. Boston 4, Rays nothing in the 4th. Orioles are 2 games ahead of both Boston and Toronto. Left field and deep. Back it goes, and gone for Chris Davis. And the O's grab the lead.
Well, I'm going to say the Crusher is back. That might be his best swing in the first half. Davis has done some amazing things here already in the first half with his home runs. 22nd homer this season. But that is a bomb the other way. Backing it up and letting it travel.
And another $500 for Michael Domorowski of Forest Hill, our Maryland Lottery Player of the game.
And take a look at this. He has got to stay back on the change, but this is the heater. So that kind of shows you where he is, letting it travel and squares it up. 88-mile-an-hour fastball going deep to left field.
Well, the Orioles have been hitting some rockets off of Lincecum, and up to that blow had nothing to show for it. 108 miles an hour to leave the ballpark. And Mike, when he starts using left field, he gets incredibly dangerous.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. And to stay back and drive it that way, that's when teams go, oh no, Chris Davis is heating up. And that was impressive.
In the dirt on the 0-2 pitch to Wieters. A little line drive, hard line drive right at Petit, the second baseman, his first at bat. So Davis, number 22. The ball rolling up the first base side and picked up by Soto to make sure it stayed foul. And Wieters will come back and do it again with a 1-2 count.
Well, and that was the pitch that Chris Davis was forcing himself to stay back on. That changeup that you saw Wieters get in front of and roll over. Davis forced himself to stay back. Allowed him to drive that fastball over the wall.
And the 1-2 is bounced to second. There's Petit. We'll get Wieters and one away here in the Oriole fourth inning. On Sunday, July 24th, the celebration of the 50th anniversary of the 1966 World Championship team will continue. First 20,000 fans 15 and over at that game will receive a 1966 Jim Palmer replica jersey presented by UMBC's 50th anniversary. So don't miss out. You know you want that for your collector's items. And because that's a Sunday, all the kids 14 and under after the game can run the bases. So get your tickets for July 24th, Orioles.com or 888-848-BIRD. Scope with a healthy cut and swings through it.
Lincecum getting away with one there. I mean, this Orioles offense, they need to target him up. Scope got a pitch and just missing it.
Skies this one to shallow left. Choi coming in, doesn't have to dive this time, and he has it for the out, and 2 men down. The day after the Orioles win and score 5 or more runs, you get 50% off regular menu pricing online orders at papajohns.com with the promo code Orioles5. Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's. Bucks Birds won yesterday by scoring 3 runs. Just the 9th time this year they've won a game scoring 3 runs or less. Tropiano was fabulous yesterday. 6 innings, just 1 allowed in a no decision. Orioles came back and beat the bullpen to get that win. Pedro lined out hard his first at bat. Another vicious line drive right at Petit.
Now Pedro really started heating up through the month of June. He's carried it over into July. And he has done some damage, really all of his damage off of right-handed pitching. 9 homers that he's picked up, all coming off the righties.
Facing Lincecum here, they saw each other as National Leaguers. Pedro's now 3 for 11 against them. Won't chase the off-speed pitch. Alvarez, very much like Chris Davis, when he uses left center field, he becomes more dangerous. He has a lot of power that way.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, that's what Scott Coolbaugh keeps trying to tell these guys. They're so quick.
And there he goes the opposite way. A line drive single, Trout over to play it.
Now they're so quick and strong. Nice piece of hitting there by Alvarez. After squaring one up at the second baseman for an out, he squares another one up here. A spinning slider, but he stays on the outside corner. Base hit in any ballpark there, right back through the box.
So Pedro gets a base hit. He's 1 out of 2. His out was actually hit harder than that.
Right.
Here's Hardy, the 6th batter to come up here in the 4th inning. Outside corner, called strike. J.J. drew a walk in his at bat in the 3rd, but then was doubled up on a double play ball by Jones. Fouls off the breaking ball, but that'll be back in the crowd. Marte over, he runs out of room. Lincecum 109 wins and 85 losses. This is his 266th career start. And already at 70 pitches as he works here in the 4th. He is 2-4 in his career against AL East teams. Nearly hits Hardy. Those have won 3 out of 4. They're now 3-5 in July. They've had winning months each month of the season, including the 19 wins in June. The 1-2 is a called strike 3. Hit the outside corner. Hardy didn't think so, and he's rung up. And that'll end the inning. But the Orioles do grab the lead. Trumbo singles, and Chris Davis goes opposite field. His 22nd has put the O's on top. different, just big smiles. Smiles from young and not so young. It's a Dugout Club day here today. And fans enjoying a Sunday afternoon. They enjoyed watching crush one.
Yeah. Big ball.
Well, it's warm here at Camden Yards, so the ball does tend to carry. And when you're as strong as he is.
Yeah. Not many can go 440 feet the other way.
Petit leads off. Breaking ball for a strike, going one. Tillman in search of his first clean inning. He's only allowed one hit. That was Trout's RBI double, but he has walked 5 batters. Ground ball towards third, off the glove of Manny and into left field for a base hit. I think that ball bounced over the glove just as Manny went into his dive. So that'll be a leadoff single for Petit.
Take a look, Manny getting the feet going. Yeah, it did look like it bounced over the top of the glove. Manny reaching out, and actually maybe Manny turned the glove a little bit, hit off the web.
So the second time in 5 at-bats they put the leadoff man on. Turns the lineup over for Yunel Escobar. And there's a strike. Escobar had his 13-game hitting streak snapped yesterday. Tillman now at 67 pitches. And mixing it up really well, Mike.
Yeah, he is. I mean, the off-speed pitch is very quality here. Chris Tillman. The fastball I'm a little concerned about. Velocity not up. Rotating well there.
Escobar not pleased with that strike call. Tim Timmons hearing it from the bench, just told him to knock it off.
A couple fastballs. First one arguably inside, off the inside corner, and that last one he says you got to give me one or the other.
Well, with the All-Star break hitting after games today, you look back to the All-Star break in 2010 when Yunel Escobar during the All-Star break was traded from Atlanta to Toronto. So on the Sunday he was a Brave, then the break came, and when play resumed he was a Blue Jay. You don't often see that. But as Dan Duquette pointed out when he chatted with us earlier, there are teams sending representatives to the All-Star game to see other representatives from other teams, and you never know when something falls into your.
Sure.
He has been with Atlanta, Toronto, Miami, Tampa Bay. He was traded to Oakland, and 4 days later Oakland traded him to the Nationals. Swing and a miss. He got him. And Escobar is still upset at that strike 2 call.
A real nice slider. Throws it hard. After moving the fastball around to all 4 quadrants, this hard slider wins the battle there, getting Escobar out in front, gearing up for the heater. And a nice late break gets Escobar for the first out.
There's Cole Calhoun. He has walked twice and he has scored the Angels run. Went too far, fooled by that pitch. 0-1.
Calhoun didn't. A little self-talk. I don't know if it was positive self-talk or.
Why did you swing at that? Self.
Boy, this game will get in your head. You hope you only talk to one guy in there, 2 or 3.
Perfect pitch on the outside corner. Calhoun, after 2 walks, now down on the count 0-2. Very little breeze downtown on this warm Sunday afternoon. Upstairs.
How about Chris Tillman today versus the lefties? The fastball 57% of the time. That breaking ball, he'll show him 14%, but the changeup has come up big, 29% of the time. And it is a big time pitch for Tillman, throwing it off that fastball. Pretty good change of speeds, about 10 miles an hour off the heater.
Fastball rides inside, evens the count 2-2. Tillman looking for his 12th win. Chris Sale leads the American League with 14. Jay Happ of the Blue Jays has 12. And a swing and a miss. He gets Calhoun.
Oh, that is nasty. A nasty slider from Tillman. I mean, this ball freezes, stops there, and whoo, does it make a left turn. This is about as tight as you're going to see it. Man, that is a nasty pitch from Tillman. He has mastered the slider this year. And Matt Wieters isn't hesitating to put that finger down.
Here's Mike Trout. Drove in the run in the first with a double off the scoreboard in right field, then struck out in the third. Strike on the corner. Tillman and Rick Porcello of the Red Sox are tied for third most wins. They each have 11. And then Danny Salazar of Cleveland and Stephen Wright of Boston each have 10. And Tillman did not make the All-Star team despite his very strong first half. It seems that in recent years the All-Star game managers prefer the back end of the bullpen pitchers over starters.
Oh yeah.
As they get a lead, they're accustomed in those situations to come in and hold it.
Yeah, they know what it's all about. I mean, especially in the All-Star game, you're not going to have a starting pitcher go, you know,
maybe 3 innings.
Yeah.
Towards the middle, but there's Schoop. He'll run to the base, and he gets there just ahead of the hustling Petit. And that ends the inning. So leadoff hit and a man left. Mid-fifth at Camden Yards, the Birds have the lead. The Mets manager, I've never had injuries in such mass before to where it's every day. I'm running out of things to say, and we're running out of bodies, so we're just going to have to keep going. Well, they've lost Matt Harvey for the season, shoulder surgery. Then on the same day, Noah Syndergaard left the game with arm fatigue, and Yoenis Cespedes hurt his leg running down a ball in center field.
Yeah.
So they've lost 3 frontliners in the span of a few days.
Yeah, there have been some tough injuries all around the league, but the Mets, I mean, to get it all in one day like that, the news about Harvey, I mean, man, oh man. Of course, Rangers have lost a couple starting pitchers. This Angels team, you know, C.J. Wilson, Garrett Richards, so some key players out for a lot of teams in baseball this year.
Peel to first, no swing, says Paul Emmel. Adam joining in with Soto to ask for the appeal.
Yeah, seems kind of commonplace now. The hitter asked for the check.
Now back the other way, 1-1. And Lincecum has been hit hard here today, but he's been fortunate. There have been several hit right at his fielders. Lined and fair down the line. It just stayed fair. Jones will have the second as Choi digs it out. And his throw not in time. There's a stand-up double for Jones, who has a 2-hit game.
And Adam Jones continues to swing the bat well, hooking this one on the left field line. Watch this ball take off. Wow, that ball is buggy whipped. Staying in fair territory, getting down the line. Adam Jones turning on the speed, coasting in the second base.
Adam, I'm not sure who he was talking to. He was looking towards the Angels dugout. Maybe he thought Scioscia was going to challenge that it was fair. It was clearly a fair ball. Now here's Joey Rickard. Another one of these spots, Mike, where he has a runner at second and nobody down. Lincecum staring and staring and staring and then sets off.
I'd like to see Joey Rickard just swing it.
Bunts third base side. It's a beauty. Lincecum picks it up, fires, and he gets him. Well, a good recovery there by Lincecum, so it'll be a sacrifice. Jones moves to third.
Yeah, pretty athletic play right there. Nice bunt by Rickard. Look at Escobar retreating early, and Lincecum had to get the head up. Saw Escobar leave and then quickly pounce on that baseball, get the out at first base. But Rickard doing the job, getting Adam Jones over to third with one out.
Adam having a lot of fun today. Well, that could be any day for Adam.
Right.
Infield drawn in for Manny. Oh, good cut. He fouled it straight back. The night game tonight, the final game before the break, is Arizona at San Francisco. So at least they're on the West Coast where the All-Star game is. The All-Star game's in San Diego. And if you have a chance, watch the Futures game later and see if Chance Sisco gets in.
Yeah, that'll be fun. One of the younger players you're going to see. And having a strong year in Double-A. He's only, what, 21?
Yeah. Well, that was the year the Orioles drafted 3 high school catchers. Sisco, Jonah Heim, and Alex Murphy out of Calvert Hall. And Murphy's at Delmarva, Heim is at Frederick, and Sisco is at Bowie. And then at AAA, you have the veteran backups in Pena and Perez. Popped it up, shallow left. This is a tough play. And Simmons makes another fabulous catch. That's the second time in this series he's gone back on balls like that and made a basket catch. And Drolton Simmons, one of the best in the game.
Yes, he is. Platinum Glove Award winner just a few years ago. And yeah, second time he's made this type of play in this series. And it's just about court awareness. Know where your outfielders are. Of course, the infield for the Angels brought in, so he understands he's got to go out there and cover a little bit more ground on the weak pop-ups. And he comes down with an exceptional play. Keep Jones at third.
So Manning denied. Here's Mark Trumbo in the dirt. Nice scoop there by Soto. Trumbo singled and scored in the fourth. He got on ahead of the Davis home run. Knocked down by Soto again. The base hit by Trumbo, by the way, his 100th of the year. Adam Jones stayed put. So he now has 100. Manny has 109. And Jonathan Schoop has 99.
Wow. How about those numbers there? Deep inside the numbers for Lincecum. 409. Opponent batting average with runners in scoring position.
And he's behind Trumbo now 3-0. Next social over by Charles Nagy. Had the green light and swung through it.
Real good change. His best pitch. And right now, the good arm speed to go along with that deception.
Well, 3-1 on Trumbo. Jones at third, 2 down. And there's a walk. And the second walk allowed by Lincecum puts 2 on for Davis with 2 men down. On Friday, the Orioles celebrated the 50th anniversary of the 1966 World Championship team, the first title in the franchise history. They wore special commemorative uniforms modeled after the 66 club. Each player and coach's cap and jersey, plus replica jerseys for the members of the 66 team that was honored in a pregame ceremony, have been autographed and authenticated and placed on auction. All the proceeds will benefit the Orioles Charitable Foundation. So visit Orioles.com/auction now to place your bid. Here's Chris Davis.
I'd be surprised if they pitched to him here, but
fastball right there. Well, Lincecum was such a dominant pitcher in his good years with the Giants before the injuries. And that went too tight, 1-1. He's averaged for his career 8 base hits per 9 innings. But in his 4 starts with the Giants, 14.5. So he really has been getting hit. Davis, the 2-run home run in the 4th, gave the Orioles the lead. Swings through it, 1-2.
How violent was that delivery there to sell the change? I mean, he just jumped off the mound to get the arm speed and get Davis out in front.
Davis with the 2-run home run. For Chris, it's his 19th multi-RBI game. So he has the team lead back. Trumbo caught him at 18, and now with the 2-run home run, Davis back in front. Chance for another RBI here if he can get a base hit. 2-2 the count, 2 on and 2 down. Upstairs, ball 3. Now this will give the Orioles an advantage that Trumbo will be off with the pitch from first base. 3-2 with 2 down. Jones is not forced, so he has to play it safe at third. Outfield very deep on Chris Davis. Center field, got under it. Mike Trout is there, and he's got it for the out, so the inning ends. A double, a walk, 2 left. We are through 5. Orioles holding on to a 2-1 lead. Child Abuse Center. Rosenberg and the staff of the BCAC work tirelessly every day to make sure that victims of child abuse and exploitation can achieve hope, healing, and justice. Rosenberg has led BCAC's efforts over the last 8 years, helping BCAC become one of the first 24-hour children's advocacy centers in the country. Each year, the BCAC helps more than 1,000 children and trains more than 4,000 professionals. We thank Adam Rosenberg for his commitment to the well-being of children in Baltimore. He's an inspiration to us all. And if you would like to nominate someone to be a community hero, just go to Orioles.com/hero. Tillman misses to Pujols 1-0. Marte and Ji-Man Choi will follow. Center field chases Adam Jones, gliding back to the wall and makes the catch against the wall.
Well, Adam Jones so familiar with this Camden Yards center field. Knows where the wall is. Great patience out there in center field. No panic at all. He's right up against the wall, pulling this deep fly ball down.
So Tillman in search of his first 3 up, 3 down inning retires Pujols. Now here's Marte, who's 0 for 2. Marte is grounded out to Hardy and flied out to Jones. And strike one. Marte upset with himself. I think he liked the pitch after he let it go by.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and that's one of the most frustrating things for a hitter. You say, okay, I'm just going to take the first pitch. So you quiet everything down and you see it as well as any pitch you've seen and shake your head. Well, why didn't I swing it that way? Well, it's because you kept your body quiet.
Marte thought it was too tight. Called strike on the inside corner, so it's 0-2. And he won't chase a ball on 2 strikes. When the Orioles resume after the All-Star break, it's a 7-game road trip. They have 3 at Tampa Bay next Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and then Buck and the Birds head to New York for a 4-game series with the Yankees. Foul back. Gallardo will start Friday night, and Tillman will start Saturday night, but the Orioles have not announced their Sunday starter, which is a little surprising, being that Gausman is in the rotation and he's a regular.
Right.
Giovanni.
Could be one of those all-star break moves.
Slicing down the line, a long run for Trumbo, won't get there, but it's foul. Well, Gallardo pitching yesterday and Tillman today. Because of the All-Star break, they'll each get 1 extra day of rest. Giovanni's day to pitch would be Thursday, but there's no game, and Tillman's would be Friday. So they each get pushed back a day, which at this time of year is actually a good thing.
Oh, yeah, very welcome.
The Rays will send Archer, Moore, and Odorizzi in order. 1-2 on Marte, with 1 out, nobody on. Just did get a piece, and then it got a piece of Wieters.
Good pitch. A 2-seamer that will sink in there a little bit. Located well down and in. You see that 6th pitch just catching that down and in quadrant. Might open up that outer third a little bit.
To Hardy. And 2 down in the 6th. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Orioles and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Orioles. Go O's! Nice crowd on this warm Sunday afternoon. Perfect day to be at the ballpark.
Sure is. Humidity kind of cleared out of here.
A little bit.
Great day for baseball.
Ji-Man Choi breaking ball low. 2 days ago he was in AAA. Now he's here with the Angels, starting back-to-back games. Yesterday at first base and today in left field. Right there for a strike, 1-1.
A real good changeup. Comes out of the hands. It's a four-seam changeup, and Tillman changed that pitch a couple years ago. He used to throw a two-seam change where he'd have a little bit of fade on it, but this one coming out of his hand looking just like the fastball.
Close pitch there, but he didn't get the call. Tillman protecting a 2-1 lead. Slicing down the left field line. That's a long run for Rickard, and he's not going to get there. Bounces into the stands and back on the field. That's a ground rule double. Jordan Baker put up the sign that that was a ground rule double. So Tillman again cannot complete a 3-up, 3-down inning. Tying run at second base with 2 down.
Pretty impressive piece of hitting right there. And Choi slapping the fastball down that left field line. Still haven't seen a fastball up in the mid-90s from Tillman today. 90-91 with the heater.
And Drolton Simmons now, he has been up twice and he has walked twice. Just outside, 1-0. Simmons has an 11-game hitting streak going. And he's batting .402 in his last 16 games. 25 hits in those 16 games. Fooled by that pitch, 1-1. Tillman has struck out 4 and he's walked 5. And he has only allowed 3 hits. Off the end of the bat, Jones gliding into it, and he's got it for the out. So Tillman gets out of it, the 2-out double, and a man left. Mid-6 to Camden Yards. O's come to bat with the lead. Well, we head to the bottom of the 6th in a tight game. Lincecum has kept his team in it. Davis's 2-run home run, the difference in the game. Here's Wieters. Lincecum right at him for a strike. Schoop on deck, then Pedro. In the 6th inning, Orioles looking to add to their lead. Foul straight back, 0-2. Fernando Salas now getting loose as Lincecum approaches 100 pitches.
Well, Lincecum's done a nice job keeping this offense off balance, mixing in the change, the breaking balls.
And this is outside, a ball and 2 strikes on Wieters, who is 0 for 2. He is lined out and grounded out. And he strikes out Wieters. Strikeout number 3 and 1 away.
And the off-speed pitches at 89, looking like the old school Lincecum, 97. Located well out of third.
There's Jonathan Schoop, who's 1 out of 2. Jonathan at 99 base hits.
Yeah, exceptional first half for Jonathan Schoop, defensively and offensively.
Swung on and missed. Good off-speed pitch, 1-2. Well, Jonathan hits the All-Star break on a 9-game hitting streak. Jones hits with an 8-game hitting streak. And Jonathan, power at a young age, and another list with some special names.
Yeah, most home runs as second baseman for age 25. Bobby Doerr, Mazeroski, Joe Gordon, Hall of Famer. Cano on the list. Jonathan Schoop, 45 home runs for the age of 25.
Can't catch up to the high fastball there, so back-to-back Ks and 2 down.
Steady diet off speed down in the bottom of the strike zone, and he rides the high fastball to the top to get Schoop to chase. And veteran pitcher finding ways to make it work.
Well, exactly 100 pitches as he works here in the 6th inning. His debut for the Angels as Brad Brach begins to get loose was also a 6-inning outing. Alvarez first ball swinging, pops it up to shallow left. Simmons on the run again, and it falls in. He thought he was called off. Alvarez is trying to go to second base, and he will as the throw goes all the way to first, and then it gets by Marte, and Alvarez ends up at third. Wow. Simmons had it all the way, and he must have thought Choi called him off because he just stopped.
Yeah, he just froze there. It looked like a routine fly ball. Alvarez frustrated. There goes Simmons, and then puts a hand up, but just freezes. Choi wanted no part of that one. Probably still banged up after that diving out he made, and then it's yoiks and away. And Marte was backing up good. Look at Alvarez. He's kind of cruising over there. Wait a second, what just happened? As he hustles in, it forces Simmons to rush the throw, and Marte's back there for backup, but he just whiffs it. Goes to the foul ground, and Alvarez finding himself at third base.
Well, they've given Alvarez credit for a double. No one touched the ball, and he goes to third on an E6. Hardy base hit center field, and the Orioles get a gift run. Alvarez scores as Hardy comes through.
Boy, that's what this team has done so well, taking advantage of the extra opportunities. Miscue there by the Angels defense. J.J. Hardy coming through with the clutch hit. Staying on the slider, hovering on the plate, but look at the head position right down to get it. Hardy swinging a solid bat.
So Hardy picks up the RBI, and that'll chase Lincecum as we have a pitching change. Fernando Salas is coming on. Our pitching change brought to you by Jiffy Lube, where participating stores now do brake services. Stop in and let Jiffy Lube inspect your brakes today.
Maybe 33% fastballs, the changeup, the big pitch for him today. Really attacking with the off speed. Pretty good line, 5 2/3 after his 3 previous starts. Not making it into the 5th inning. We'll give way to Fernando Salas, the fastball 61% of the time. High 80s, low 90s with the heater, breaking ball, firm slider, and straight change. This is his 41st appearance already. 3 wins, 5.09 earned run average. Couple saves for Salas. Opponent's hitting .253 overall. Lefty's up to .306, and he has given up the 8 long balls.
16 of 19 inherited runners stranded. Hardy's at first with 2 down. This inning began with back-to-back strikeouts, and the hop up to shallow left that wasn't caught followed the 2 Ks. Too tight to Adam Jones, 1-0. Adams had a good day. His 25th multi-hit game of the year. As that batting average continues to climb, it's up to .266 after a slow start this year. Base hit right field. Jones with a 3-hit game. And Hardy goes to second, Adam on at first. Fans, check out Masson Orioles on Instagram and look for this photo for your chance to win an autographed Orioles prize pack. That's Masson Orioles on Instagram, presented by Hair Cuttery, home of the Smile Back Guarantee. Here's C.J. Cron, who suffered a fractured hand when he was hit by a pitch by Mike Wright in the game on Friday. Joey Rickard swings through it on 1. And what's too bad for Lincecum is that will be an earned run because the official score gave Alvarez a double.
All right.
Had that been a single, it would not be an earned run, at least yet.
Soto's made some pretty nice blocks here this afternoon. Really getting low and covering that baseball down in the dirt. See any space in the 5-hole.
And by the way, the official scorer who made that call, double Jim Henneman, it's his 81st birthday today.
Yes,
So
it
happy
is.
birthday,
I'm
Henny.
glad you brought that up. Yeah, happy birthday, Jim.
He is one of the best. And Rickard chases one, and he's out on strikes. But the Orioles get a gift run on the ball that fell in, and Hardy comes through. We're through 6, 3-1 O's.
Down on the fastball away. How about Mike Trout chasing the high heater? But Escobar going down on the slider, and so does Calhoun. Here's Tillman looking to stay undefeated at Camden Yards this year, and the team looking for its 12th win. When Tillman takes the bump, Geico 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com for a free rate quote.
95 pitches as he begins the 7th. He has gone 7 or more innings 6 times on the year to lead the staff. And it's taken high by Soto, Petit on deck, and then Escobar. There's a strike.
Well, that seems to be his go-to pitch. That slider showing the good command of the pitch. Throw it for get me over, or he can bury it down and away.
Line foul down the line. And the 1-2 is swung on and missed. Soto down on strikes. That's number 5 for Tillman.
Now the straight change after turning and burning on a fastball. Wieters calling for the change. And here it comes. Beautiful pitch. Take a look at how far Soto is out in front. It's called by Wieters. Well executed. Tillman.
Brad Brock in the Orioles pen. Cam Bedrosian in the Angels pen. Gregorio Petit, the number 9 batter. Strike on the corner. If you could bottle that pitch. Fastball at the knees on the outside corner.
Yeah, absolutely. And tough to pick up from Tillman. The big guy throws across his body, so it creates a great angle down and away.
Quickly 0-2. The Orioles have 14 starts this year of at least 7 innings. Tillman has 6 of those 14. And he is 2 outs away from his 7th on the year. Line caught by Davis. It's a base hit away from Petit and 2 men down. He had him played perfectly and got to it with a quick first step.
Yeah, he is the big cat now down at the hot corner of first base. Look at the reactions from Davis, and then the extendo glove to take that line drive away from Petit.
So Tillman again and out away from his first 3-up 3-down inning. Here's Yunel Escobar. He has walked, struck out, and flied out. 0-1. Blue Jays are still leading Detroit 5-1 in the 8th, and the Red Sox have a 4-0 lead on Tampa Bay. That game about to go to the 8th. So if all holds here, the Orioles will hit the break with a 2-game lead on both Boston and Toronto. Check swing, they appealed, did not go. The Red Sox have a 2% lead on Toronto, technically for second place, but they're both 2 games out. Boston's 2 down in the loss column. The Blue Jays are 4. A little bit low, 2-1. And a pop-up. Davis battling the sun. He has it. Tells Scope, I'll take it. And he puts it away for the out. Well, we'd like to send our best wishes to Tanner Baldwin, who was in Johns Hopkins Hospital, son of Steve Baldwin, who was a very important part of our MASN television family. So, Tanner, all the best. We're all thinking about you. 7th inning stretch at Camden Yards. Orioles with a 3-1 lead. Time brought to you by Miller Lite. And we'll go back to last inning. 2 out, nobody on. And Pedro Alvarez hits a lazy pop up to shallow left. Simmons had it, but he thought he was called off by Choi. It fell in, and then this happened.
Yeah, how about that? Simmons rushing the throw. Gets away, and then Marte's backing up, but it gets under his glove. Rolls into foul territory. This is a huge insurance run. Simmons hearing some voices back there. Thinking Choi calling him off, but it drops. Alvarez takes advantage of it on the bases, and J.J. Hardy picks up the clutch base hit to get that extra insurance run.
3-1 lead. Most consecutive games scoring at least 2 runs in a season. The Orioles with 3 here today, now have done it 50 times in a row.
Yeah, pretty impressive, and that just stems from a powerhouse lineup. 1 through 9 has the ability to do some damage and put runs on the board. The bottom of the lineup coming up big. And Bedrosian coming in out of the Angels bullpen. Take a look at his pitch arsenal. The fastball 69% of the time. Pretty good heater, mid to high 90s with the fastball. Hard breaking ball for the off-speed pitch. This will be his 37th appearance. Has picked up 1 win. 1.13 earned run average and holding the opponents down to just 222. Righties just 188 batting average. Lefty's getting him a little bit better, but he's had some success here for the Angels.
Manny Machado will lead off. Then Trumbo and Davis. Orioles looking to pad their lead late here. Manny is hitless in 3 at-bats today. Vicious cut, but he fouled it back.
I think Manny's sights are up at the top of the strike zone. He's about as good a high ball hitter as you're going to see in the game today. And it just seems like he is locking in. He is taking what's given. He'll use the whole field. Come up with big late in the game hits.
And fouled the other way.
That at bat he put together yesterday, late in the ball game. It was about as impressive as you're going to see from a young player. Just slowing the game down, looking at the defense, slapping a base hit the other way. Of course, Jonathan Schoop came up with a big hit. But good communication there between the young second baseman and the ace pitcher, Tillman.
Manny protecting the outside corner, fouls it back. Bedrosian worked in the game the other night. He pitched a scoreless inning after Shoemaker left. He came on with 2 men on after a run scored. And even though he hit Schoop, he struck out the side in the inning. He was the pitcher who threw the pitch that hit Schoop in the head. And Manny really battling here.
Yeah, the good hitters just have a knack, fouling off tough pitches, keeping at bats alive.
Left field, that chases Choi. And he runs it down for the out. One away here in the Orioles' 7th inning. After today's game, all the kids 14 and under will be able to run the bases here at Oriole Park. This year, after every Sunday home game, your family has a chance to enjoy a great daytime baseball here at Oriole Park, and then cap off the day your kids have the dream of a lifetime as they run the bases here at Camden Yards, the same base paths run by their hero Orioles. The next Sunday home game comes up July 24th at 1:35 against Cleveland. For your tickets, Orioles.com or 888-848-BIRD. Trumbo fouls it back in the netting.
Bedrosian getting away with one there. Yeah, firm fastball, 95 miles an hour. But mistakes on the inner third, Trumbo has just been powdering. And he took the A cut on that heater.
Fastball's too tight, 1-1. Swing and a miss.
That's a pretty good breaking ball there. Throws it hard. A lot of rotation. Adds to that sharp finish on the end.
Well, Brock is up again in the pen, so it looks as if Tillman's day may be done, even though we saw him on the bench. Check swing and a breaking ball. Appeal, he did not go. Trumbo, base hit in the fourth, is 100th of the year. Outside, good take. Wow.
Boy, Bedrosian thought he had him. He was walking off the mound. Good fastball. You see just off the outside corner. Pitch number 5, the green ball. Inch or two away.
Fouls it off to stay alive. Trumbo about to see a 7th pitch in this at bat. With 3-2, 1 out, nobody on. Outside ball 4. Check swing, he didn't go. Chris Davis comes to the plate. Here's our Lexus of Towson drive of the game.
Big ball, backing up a fastball 440 feet away. Came off hot, and the crusher seems to be back.
The drive of the game brought to you by Lexus of Towson, the area's #1 luxury dealer. Come see why at lexusoftowson.com. Davis's home run came in the 4th, his 22nd of the year. Trumbo got on ahead of the home run. Trumbo gets on ahead of him here. Time requested at the plate by Soto. Wants to go talk it over with Bedrosian.
Yeah, there better be some commitment to these pitches, because this game could get out of hand in a hurry.
Charles Nagy, the pitching coach. Oriole Bird encouraging the fans. And a strike at the knees on 1. Sure, a lot of the Oriole players will scatter after the game tonight. The next official thing to take care of will be Thursday when they have a workout at Tropicana Field. So for the players who do not live in Baltimore full time, I'm sure many will head to their homes, spend a couple of days at home.
That's a good break. They need it. Get off their feet a little bit.
Check swing at a high fastball. He didn't go. Well, 2-1 instead of 1-2.
Good take here by Davis.
Maybe.
Uh-oh.
He just threw Yunel Escobar out of the game.
Oh my. I wonder why he's been on so many teams the last 5 or 6 years.
Tim Timmons ejected him. Escobar obviously thought Davis swung, and Mike Scioscia saying, why are you listening to a guy who's way out there? See the crew chief there, Mike Everett. He's walking with Escobar because Escobar is not going to the dugout. He's coming towards Tim Timmons.
Yeah. A piece of his mind, probably. They've had something going on the whole ball game, though. And it seems like Timmons had his ears out listening to Escobar the whole ball game and just had enough of it. It's unfortunate for Scioscia.
So that'll bring Johnny Giavotella into the game. He'll probably go to second base, moving Petit to third. So Escobar is out of the game.
Take a look at the check swing here. And what the heck Escobar is doing. I think he might have just drawn home plate out there.
So he got ejected for gesturing, not for saying something. Yeah. Gesturing with, it does look like home plate.
Yeah, I think he just drew a 4-foot home plate out there. I don't know how big it was for him.
So the count is 2-1 on Davis.
Shouldn't take your at-bats out into the field.
Right. And he is 0 for 3, and he was upset at the strikeout in the 5th inning because he didn't think strike 2 was a strike. Yeah, he drew home plate. So maybe he was showing where Davis's bat went beyond the plate.
Maybe.
2-2 with Trumbo at first. Ball 3. The shift is on, and Petit is on the left side. Simmons, the shortstop, on the right side. So it looks as if Petit is moving to third, but we won't know for sure until they come out of the shift. Trumbo doesn't go. The 3-2 is hit weakly foul off the foot all the way to first base. Trumbo back to first. Bedrosian about to serve up his 7th pitch to Chris Davis.
Yeah, he knows the importance here, middle of this lineup with Trumbo and Davis. Does not want to make a mistake, so pitching very tough. The walk to Trumbo, nibbling the edges, and here with Davis as well, working it to 3-2 and throwing some tough pitches.
That is the 3rd time this year, by the way, Escobar has been ejected from a game. It's a lot for a player.
Sure is.
And the 3-2 is upstairs, ball 4, back-to-back walks. Well, Maryland football season tickets to DJ Durkin's inaugural season are on sale now and start at just $160. Visit umterps.com or call 1-800-I'm-a-Terp to purchase. Fear the new era, fear the turtle. Charles Nagy out for a chat with Bedrosian.
Yeah, it's more like, okay, you got to buy Trumbo and Davis. I'll get back to attack mode. Be more aggressive here. The bottom part of this lineup. Intimidating presence here in this lineup with Trumbo and Davis. Davis, of course, already the home run in this ball game, but Trumbo leading the league with 28.
So Matt Wieters with an RBI chance upstairs with a fastball for ball 1. Chacin now getting loose. Foul back the other way, 1-1 on Matt. And Bedrosian began the inning. He got Manny on a fly ball out, but has since walked back-to-back hitters.
Yeah, so Wieters hoping they can pay for those 2 walks. Just another insurance run or 2 wouldn't hurt.
Breaking ball he lays off.
Actually a good breaking ball. Don't know if it was received well enough though to get the call. lot of body movement. The glove actually taking the breaking ball down and out of the zone. So not giving Timmons a good look there.
2-1 pitch, foul back. Wieters is 0 for 3, and he's now 0 for his last 13. Right down the middle for a called strike 3. So Wieters is retired. First strikeout for Bedrosian and 2 away.
Oh, good fastball, kind of holding its head, stays up. Wieters thinks it's going to drive down below the knees, and it just catches the bottom of the strike zone. Been a little low on the big man.
Soto presenting it. Here's Jonathan Schoop. 1 out of 3. Slowly hit towards third. There's Petit, plays the hop and gets it to first to get Schoop. Bedrosian gets out of it without any further damage. Couple of walks and 2 left. We head to the 8th. Brock coming on in a 3-1 game. MASN is brought to you by PNC Bank, for the achiever in you, and by Ocean City, Maryland. Let us show you a good time in Ocean City, Maryland. Book now at OCOcean.com. Gorgeous day at Camden Yards. We head to the 8th, a 3-1 game, and the day is done for Chris Tillman, who is in line to win his 12th of the year.
Yeah, pretty impressive start here to finish up the first half for Tillman. 7 strong innings, only scattering the 3 hits, a 1 earned run. Did have a few man problems with the 5 walks, but in line for his 12th win of the first half. And give way to Brad Brach, all-star selection this year for Brach. Fastball 60% of the time. Great heater in the 3/4 slot. Breaking ball, the slider, and the change 23% of the time. .93 earned run average. Picked up his 6th win in this series. And how about opponent's batting average? Just .152 overall.
Cole Calhoun leads off. Trout and Pujols will follow. Calhoun has walked twice, and he scored the Angels' run in the first inning. Low ball 2. Now Brach has a streak going. 10 consecutive scoreless appearances. Houston Street, the closer, getting loose. That could be he just needs some work.
I think so.
Right field, Trumbo comes in on it, and it gets by him. all the way to the wall. Calhoun can fly. He'll try to get to third. Schoop with the throw. He drops it. He was about to throw and he dropped it. So that'll probably be a single and a two-base error on Trumbo as it got by him. He may have lost that ball in the sun a little bit, Mike. The sun over the third base grandstand.
I think the high fastball, Calhoun kind of gets on top, so it's a sinking line drive that gets his feet a little crossed up and can't get the glove low enough. And look, it gets through the 5-hole and makes it all the way to the wall. Calhoun ends up on third base. See the frustration there.
Here is Trout representing the tying run. And a swing and a miss, 0-1. So it is ruled by the official score a single and an error on Trumbo, allowing Calhoun to get to third. Trumbo's fourth error of the year. Foul back 0-2. The run that matters is at the plate. It's a 3-1 game. Calhoun has been a pest in this series. Swing and a miss. A 3-pitch strikeout of Trout.
And the fastball, hit it if you can. Tough to pick up, cross body. He just lets it rip. 94. Hit it by Trout. Big time pitch. That's how you finish off a fastball there.
Those on pace to be the second team to have two pitchers with an ERA under 1 entering the All-Star break. The Angels in 1991, Eichhorn and Harvey, Hunter Harvey's dad, 0.92. One and one on Pujols. And a foul back. Daniel Nava is on deck to pinch hit for Marte. Big strikeout of Trout with a runner at third and nobody down. Brad Brock now can have bragging rights back in New Jersey.
Right.
Struck out his fellow New Jersey native. Trout is from Millville. Brad from Freehold. Center field should be deep enough to get a run in. Adam makes the catch. He throws towards the plate. And just getting in ahead of the throw is Calhoun. What a throw by Adam. And Wieters was trying to deke Calhoun.
Yeah.
As if there was no throw coming. So sac fly and an RBI for Pujols. It's a one-run game.
Yeah, nothing to lose right there for Adam Jones. So Pujols doing his job, getting an elevated pitch, hitting it deep enough. But Adam Jones, a little pirouette and just cuts it loose. Look at Wieters just standing straight up. A little decoy, and the throw is on the money. Look at Calhoun's speed. It's in across the plate.
Here's Daniel Nava pinch hitting for Marte. Well, the good thing is, if Brock can get out of this inning and the Orioles have a 3-2 lead, Britton for the save will not have to face Trout or Pujols.
Yeah.
And at the moment, this is an unearned run charged to Brad Brock. One and one. Houston Street was up and he's up again, and Yoeli Chachin is also up for a second time. I guess Mike Scioscia would bring in Chachin if the game is tied and save Street for a possible save situation.
Yeah, you wonder what managers think going into the All-Star break, how they want to try to keep their bullpen as fresh as possible, keep them working.
Swing and a miss. Nava asking Tim Timmons, was that a strike? Well, he swung and missed. So
yeah. Because you swung there, Daniel. But look at the late life. That ball is just running away. 94. Great velocity.
Well, 2-2 with 2 outs and the bases empty. Vicious cut, and he fouled it back.
Yeah, so I think the answer may have been yes, because Nava goes right back out there trying to protect that outside corner.
That's a pet peeve of Buck Showalter, is he doesn't think umpires should tell the hitters.
Yeah, you should know your own strike zone, right? I always thought that was kind of funny. Some of the best hitters turning around saying, was that a strike? Well, are you kidding me?
In the dirt, 3-2. You never questioned umpires, right?
A couple times I did, but not a lot.
Good call, Blue.
No, I never told him it was a good call.
3-2 on Nava, battling here. And he walked him. Tell you what, this Angels team, they really know how to work the count.
Yeah, they've shown some pretty good patience and quality at bats here in this series, and you can tell that they're going to be.
Todd Cunningham, excuse me, Mike, is going to come on and pinch run.
Yeah, came in and pinch ran for Nava in yesterday's ball game. Yeah, offensively, they're going to be able to put some runs on the board. They just need some help pitching wise.
So this leaves Jet Bandy as the only player on the bench. The ejection of Escobar forced Gia Vitella into the game, who was getting a day off. Ji-Man Choi, 1 out of 3. And a high fly ball to right. Backpedaling is Trumbo. On the warning track, he makes the catch. That ball nearly carried out of here, but Trumbo goes back to get it. An unearned run and a man left. We're at the bottom of the 8th, 3-2 O's. All-Star break. The O's meet up again on Friday in Tampa for the weekend series against the Rays. Giovanni Gallardo goes against Chris Archer in the opener. Our coverage on MASN 2 begins at 6:30 with O's Extra presented by Jeep. And then game coverage at 7 o'clock. We've got all the access you need right here on MASN.
How about a look ahead here after the All-Star break? The Rays 34-54, last place in the American League East, and they have lost 22 of their last 25 games. They have had some injuries, but they are getting some injured players back after the break. A couple big ones. Kevin Kiermaier and Steve Pearce, both offensively and defensively, are going to give them dramatic improvements in the second half. And of course, a couple of their big pitchers as well. Brad Boxberger and Alex Cobb will be coming back. So the Rays are going to be a team to contend with in the second half. Houston Street now coming in out of the Angels bullpen. Take a look at his pitch arsenal. The fastball 46% of the time. Not overpowering, 86 to 89 with the fastball. Has a slider and change to go along with it. 3 wins, 7 saves in his 9 opportunities. He has been on the disabled list, missed 32 games this year, and opponents hitting a lofty 309 off Street. Only giving up the 1 home run. Not overpowering at all, but pretty unique delivery from Houston.
Todd Cunningham stays in the game in left field. That pushes Choi to first base. Pedro Alvarez, Hardy, and then Adam Jones against Street. And there's a strike. Street was ready to work, and Giovatello was having a long conversation with Mike Everett. And I think Street yelled over to him and said, "Johnny, let's go." And then he ran over into his position. Off the end of the bat on an off-speed pitch. Pedro's at bat in the 6th inning right now is the difference in the game. He had a high pop up to shallow left. Simmons, the shortstop, went back. He had a play. Thought he heard Choi call him off, and he stopped. And Choi couldn't get there, and it fell in. Pedro went to second base for a double, and then went to third base when Simmons threw the ball away, trying to get him at second base. And he then scored on an RBI hit by J.J. Hardy. So that run, the difference in the game.
The ability to take advantage of those extra opportunities, and the Orioles have been fortunate to capitalize on a lot of those this year.
Line to right center field. That's a base hit. Over to cut it off is Calhoun. Alvarez with a big turnaround first, draws a throw, but he gets back in.
Man, like the way Alvarez has been swinging the bat. The ball smoked into the gap, and he's looking 2 right out of the box. Nice job by Pedro. Take a look at this turn. He's thinking 2 all the way. Calhoun has taken him over in the right center gap, but he sees that he gets his feet underneath him out there. Turns on back to first base.
JJ RBI single his last at bat. 1 out of 2. So he'll take a 7-game hitting streak into the break. Check swing at a high fastball. Didn't go. Paul Emmel even does check swings quickly. When he's behind the plate, his strike calls, you better be watching because the hand is there and it's gone. Good take. Ball 2.
Street does not give in. I mean, he loves the off-speed pitches. Keep working away from hitters. Working the edge, working the edge. Whole career always relied on the command.
Alvarez goes, and the pitch is popped up foul wide of first. Over near the dugout, into the dugout. Nice effort there by Soto.
I like that send. I mean, the Orioles do not run. They just don't. But when they do, it's almost 100% guaranteed that they'll make it. Nice try there by Soto. Getting a little tentative though. See him back away when it gets towards the wall. You got to find it first.
Yeah, he had another step.
Yeah.
And then Mark Trumbo, after he didn't make the catch, went to help him.
Yeah.
Well, 2-1 on Hardy with Alvarez at first. Slider low, ball 3. There's Zach getting ready for the save. Dom Chidi there with him. Three balls and a strike on Hardy. There goes Alvarez, swinging a pop-up. Again foul.
I think both of these hit and runs. And a high fastball. Look at the quick look in on the 3-1 count. Nice job by Alvarez. Seen a few times this year where Oriole will take off running and just keep the head down, won't look back. Alvarez doing it right, picking up the foul ball.
A full count. He'll likely be running here as well. Draws a throw, and he's out. Picked off as he tried to get an aggressive jump, and Houston Street, the veteran, went after him.
Yeah, Street not really known for the pickoff move, but Alvarez cheating a little bit. Trying to get a good jump on a 3-2 count, and he gets him with the false step to second.
Base stealers are 2 for 2 against Street. Hardy to left field. Back it goes. That ball is gone for Hardy. He breaks the long home run drought. First long ball since April 12th at Fenway. And a big insurance run for the O's. And another $500 for our Maryland Lottery contestant of the game, Michael Domorowski of Forest Hill.
There you go, JJ. Couple hits in this ball game. Big home run right there.
So it's a 4-2 game. 106 miles. That one got out of here in a hurry. Scott Coolball. See? Oh, yeah. See, you did what I told you. See?
Right.
Adam Jones fouls it off.
Take a look at this swing. 3-2 count, and the fastball leaks back over the heart of the plate.
Look at the head, Mike, how steady.
Oh, boy. Perfect swing from J.J. Hardy. Oh, yeah. He's got his boys up there. Machado and Scope cheered him on.
Well, your prediction came a day too soon. You said after the break, Hardy was going to go on a home run tear. He started it today for you. Changeup is low, 1-1 on Adam. Adam, 3 hits, 2 singles and a double. So he now has 91 base hits.
Boy, it's impressive how Adam Jones has turned this first half around.
For the Angels in the 9th, it's the bottom of the lineup. Due up Simmons, Soto, and Petit. The only available bat on the bench is Bandy. Taking Pedro on the Oriole bench. A breaking ball foul back. Orioles are 3 outs away from their 9th win in rubber games to decide series. So important for a team that contends. Zach is ready. He's watching more than throwing. Ball 3 outside. And I think they're going to call the trainer out. Nope, Street said, no, stay back.
Yeah.
Socia and Nagy came out on the bench, and Socia pointed to the trainer. And Street said, I don't need you.
Shaking it out a little bit. Left leg. You see him kind of
cramping up.
Yeah, something going on there. Moving it around, shaking it around. Soto comes running out, and the whole dugout about to come out and take a look at him, and he waves them off, but they're coming out anyway. to take a chance. There might be a little something going on in there and make it worse. Talked about Street already spending some time on the disabled list, and this Angels team has been crushed with injuries. They need to go into the second half losing Street.
Saying I'm all right. There's Mike Scioscia as a former catcher. He knows if you have something going on with your legs, it could lead to hurting your arm. If you begin to favor it in any way.
Yeah, but Scioscia, that old school kind of catcher where he probably just said, hey, why don't you just tape an aspirin to it or something? Let's go.
We'll send an ice bag out for you.
Yeah. You want some cold spray? Here you go. Get back up there.
3-2 on Jones. Foul tip. Got a piece of Soto.
Everybody getting banged up. Soto giving the thumbs up. Street say, you okay? Let me take a look here. Adam Jones with the healthy cut. And off the end of the bat. With Soto in a few different places.
Yolis Chacin getting loose again. Third time he's been up. Ball 4. Jones gets on. So the inning continues, and a one-out walk. Follow Orioles baseball live with the MLB.com at-bat app. You stay up to the moment at any moment with Game Day. Live game video highlights, StatCast, news, and more. Download MLB.com at-bat, the #1 app for live baseball on your phone or tablet. And Mike Scioscia is coming out again, and here comes the trainer again. Tim Timmons reading Scioscia. Street is very upset. I think they just told him you're coming out of the game. And he will reluctantly leave. So Chacin will come on, 1 out in the 8th.
Getting loose the last couple innings. Take a look at his pitch arsenal. The fastball 67% of the time. High 80s, low 90s with the heater, slider, curve, and change to go along with it. 5.84 earned run average, though. He's given up 95 hits in 81 2/3. So been hitting around quite a bit. Opponent average up to 292, and he's given up 9 long balls this season. Houston Street had to leave the game after fighting to stay in. Something happening in the leg area. A couple visits for Mike Scioscia. He finally gave in.
But we know how competitive he is. But it was kind of funny to watch that. When the trainer came out, he yelled at the trainer. And then when Scioscia got to him, he said, okay, I'll go. Okay, Skip. But you love the competitive fire of Houston Street. He's one of the best when he's healthy. And he did not want to come out of the game. Adam Jones on at first following the walk. Lincecum started. He went 5 2/3, 3 earned runs on 9 hits. It is his game to lose. The Orioles now leading 4-2. Good to see him back out there supporting his teammates. Rickard took over for Kim, who left with a hamstring strain. He grounded out in the first and is only at bat, and about 3/4 of the way down the line he pulled up. Joey's 1 out of 2 plus a sacrifice. Good take on a 0-2 pitch. Slider just missed.
Yeah, good slider there. More of the true type of slider. Throws it hard, comes out of his hand looking like the fastball. A good late break on the end.
Fights that one off. And Joey 5 hits in his last 13 at bats. Having a real solid rookie year.
Sure is. Big time spark plug the first month of the season.
And he got him on a slider, so 2 men down. Real good pitch by Chacín.
Well, a couple real good sliders in this at bat. Chacín, one that Rickard should have hit, the 2 that he missed. Nasty. Big time break off the plate, getting Rickard way out front.
Manny Machado is 0 for 4. He lined out to Choi in the 3rd on a sinking line drive that Choi made a diving catch of. Check swing, they appeal to first. He went too far.
Take a look, another good slider here. Manny off at it. Borderline though. Man.
Glove by Chacín. He just saved the base hit. Tosses to first. Machado's out in the inning ends, but the Orioles get an insurance run as J.J. Hardy hits it out. His 3rd of the year and his first since April the 12th. Britton coming on, looking for the save. Orioles baseball on MASN is brought to you by Southwest. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. And by Royal Farms. Royal Farms world famous chicken and western fries, made fresh, never frozen, real fresh, real fast. Royal Farms. Orioles have a 4-2 lead in the ninth. That means it's time for the closer.
Yeah, their all-star closer, second straight all-star game selection for Zach Britton, and he has been dominant. 26 saves in 26 opportunities, pretty much with one pitch, the dominating fastball. 96, 97, short arm with great late movement, sinking, cutting. And take a look at Zach's all-star numbers. Here, of course, his pitch arsenal, that dominant fastball 91% of the time, but a .74 earned run average, 43 punch-outs for Britton. Opponent's hitting just 157. Hit that 80% ground ball rate. Best in the business.
And Drelton Simmons is 0 for 1. He's also walked twice. 2-run lead to protect for Zach. Breaking ball down and in. Joey Rickard, who was in left field, moves to right field. Trumbo's out of the game. Nolan Reimold comes in. He's in left field, so he was in the Trumbo spot in the batting order. Perfect pitch. 2-2. Lined and a base hit in the right field. So Simmons is on for a third time, and that allows the tying run to come to the plate. Visit MASNsports.com/CareFirst to vote for today's CareFirst Fearless Player of the Game. Live fearless with the name trusted for over 75 years. CareFirst, Blue Cross Blue Shield. Well, Chris Davis, a 2-run home run. Hardy has a solo home run plus an RBI single. And let's not forget Mr. Tillman.
All right. Tillman, another strong game. 7 innings. In line for his 12th win of the first half.
Ball 2. Zach earned a save in the game yesterday. There's a strike at the knees.
And a good thing about Britton, if he does get a runner at first base, that ground ball percentage. Orioles infield preparing and expecting a ground ball here.
Ring and a miss. Big healthy cut from Soto.
Good fastball, 96 after working one to the top. How about this one moving to the bottom of the zone?
High fly ball to center field. Adam Jones on the run. He'll get there. And he has it for the out. Simmons played it halfway. He's back to first. One away here in the ninth inning. Let's get a look at our American League leaders, brought to you by Coons.com. Over 2 million vehicles sold and counting. ERA leaders in the bullpen in the American League.
Yeah, Kansas City Royals leading the way, but there are the Baltimore Orioles 3.14. Either been 1 or 2 this whole first half. Astros, Mariners, White Sox, pretty good bullpens themselves, but this one keyed by Britton and Brock. Dominant all-star relievers out of the O's bullpen. Stepping up with Darren O'Day on the disabled list.
Gregorio Petit, the number 9 batter. 0-1. Swing and a miss, and it's 0-2. And a bouncer foul. Now the Orioles in series wins at home, .821 winning percentage. They have gone 10-1-3 in their series. They only lost to Seattle. Only the Texas Rangers have a better percentage, but this would be their 11th series win in 15 on the year. That's amazing.
It sure is. And great consistency for this team, even with some of the struggles. Injuries, rotation.
That's what the goal is when you break spring training, is win the series. Get your 2 out of 3 and move on. If you get the occasional sweep, that's great. Sweeps are hard to get. Hopefully you don't get swept. Orioles have been swept by the Astros once. A 1-2 on Petit with a runner at first and 1 down. Ground ball towards Hardy. His only play is at first. Guns it there to get Petit 2 down. There's the veteran presence. He had no shot at second base. Didn't even look there.
Yeah, smart play. Nice play. Making it look easy on the slow roller. Hardy coming in and taking it off the grass. See him getting it out in front. Nice smooth quick transfer. Get the speedy Petit down the line.
Here's Giavotella for his first at bat. He came on to replace Escobar, who was ejected. He was ejected when he was on defense. So he's been ejected 3 times this year and twice in Orioles games.
Oh, wow.
Strike on the corner, 0-1. 97 at the knees. One and one. Boston did win, shutting out Tampa Bay 4-0. And Toronto won. They beat Detroit 6-1. The Yankees have won 11-7 in Cleveland. Bucks Birds are an out away from a 2-game division lead at the break. Now ball 1-2. $32,963 on hand. Many have stayed. In the dirt. This 3-game weekend series drew 120,568.
Nice.
Those fans coming out behind their first place team. I love that song. 2-2 on Giavotella with Simmons at second and 2 down. Britton looking for his 27th save. Little bit low, ball 3. That's a close take.
Yeah, good try. Bring it down in the zone, 98 miles an hour. Angels not in any rush, showing the good patience like we talked about. And a 3-2 count here.
And the 3-2 is chopped towards third. Manny charges, short hops, throws, got him! And the Orioles win it 4-2. What a play by Manny to end it. That was not an easy play.
About as textbook as you're going to see. Comes in, fields off the left, throws off the right. Beautiful glove to hand transfer. Nice way to end the game for the all-star third baseman. Davis with the big 2-run bomb.
So the Orioles win it by the final of 4-2 as they bang out 12 base hits. Davis a 2-run home run, Hardy a home run and 2 RBIs.